back to the Rio Grande for a fun time. It's a favorite spot of my lifetime.
Thank you for tuning into Hannah and Eric Go Birding, a podcast by birders for birders.
I'm Hannah and he's Eric.
We created this podcast to share adventures, sometimes misadventures, and opinions that we have on different birding topics. We're definitely not experts in anything that we discuss that might be controversial. Once you remember, their own opinions might be different from yours.
So some of the big news out of the birding world right now is that there is a new species of tinamou that was discovered in the Amazon mountains in Brazil.
Huh. As anything that's newly discovered, for the most part, is rare and in risk of extinction. So a lot of times, like these beetles and like weird small things that are out in the middle of the jungle, the reason we haven't discovered it already is because their numbers are already just very low.
Yeah.
So I feel like the title of the article is a little misleading. It's already threatened upon extinction. It's like probably because
we didn't know it was there.
We didn't even know it was there, so their numbers in general are just lower. But I thought that was an interesting title, but really fascinating. Down in Brazil, a new tinamou species that got discovered.
So it's called a slaty masked tinamou.
Slaty masked.
And if you look at the picture, and we'll share the article in the show notes, so maybe you can read it and be more informed than Eric on this.
Yeah, Hannah actually read the article, so. To
me, it kind of looks like a varied thrush. Like it has the same, similar markings.
Similar facial markings to a varied thrush, but tinamou-shaped body.
Yeah. So that's exciting and disappointing at the same time about its status. But yeah, check it out. Its scientific name, which I think is interesting, is Tinamous resinus, from the verb, kind of to resonate, echoing or resounding. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of a fun scientific name.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the Christmas bird count.
Yes. Yes. So the season just is about to start. We have 4 more days from our recording, 3 days from when this comes out until it starts. So if you aren't already scheduled for different count circles around your area, there are hundreds and hundreds of count circles around the United States. There's a bunch down through the rest of the Americas as well. So lots of different places that you can count. We're going to be going to Central Oregon.
Yeah, we're going to try something new and go to Central Oregon and see what a Christmas bird count out there is like.
Yeah, we've never done a Christmas bird count when there's potentially snow around.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Hannah bought some new wool socks.
Oh man, I hope I stay warm enough. This is kind of a trial and error to see if I'm well prepared enough to go to Japan and hang out in the sea ice.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be chilly fun.
I feel like I need a dry suit.
A dry suit?
Yeah. I get cold very easily. There's something wrong with me. I don't know what it is. Please tell me. So anyways, if you want to join a Christmas bird count, we'll toss that information in the show notes as well. So you just go to the Audubon bird count and find your area and figure out which one you want to go to. So hopefully there's one on a day that you can participate. The Christmas bird count has been going on for many, many, many years. Mm-hmm. And it was, just real quick, it was, started because there used to be a tradition of going out and killing as many birds as you could on Christmas Day. And that was transitioned into like, hey, let's stop killing them and go count them instead and see how many we can count.
And surprisingly, like birds, like we have more birds around us when we don't spend the whole day killing them. It's weird. It's a weird concept.
Yeah. But anyways, it's a long-standing tradition. So, if you are able to get out and participate in that, because a lot of new birders, for some reason, get their start in Christmas bird count, which I always think is really interesting.
Because usually, especially in northern states, it is so miserable. It's cold and rainy. Especially in Oregon. All of them are rainy in Oregon.
You've never birded before, and you let's go census birds for a day.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's totally cool that happens. But I just always find that really interesting when somebody says one of their first things was a Christmas bird count. But I think that's because it's so well advertised.
It is really well advertised.
Yeah. So good job, birding advertisers, for that. And Eric wanted to mention a hot take that he had.
Yeah, so Hannah mentioned a hot take last episode. I don't know if my take is a hot take. I was thinking about it. Actually, it dawned on me yesterday when we were driving home from grocery shopping that while I'm driving, my hot take is drive predictably. Because it makes me unreasonably mad. I don't have road rage in general. I feel like I used to have road rage when I was young and just barely got my license, and People I worked with like convinced me that that's the way you drive. You just have road rage, and that's the way it is. But then I was like, I got over that, and it's like, okay, whatever. I'll get there when I get there. But something that does give me road rage is people that don't drive predictably. So you're at a stop sign, and you have a stop, but like you're coming onto a road that doesn't have stops. It doesn't have a stop sign, and then people will just randomly stop to let you in. They think they're being nice. It just frustrates me to no end that they're not driving predictably. Predictable is safe, and safe gets everyone home safe. Like, I just follow the rules of the road. Like, there are rules, you follow the rules of the road, and everyone gets home safe.
It also doesn't help in our town that we have a lot of weird stop rules. Like, we have a lot of, like, right turn doesn't stop at an intersection.
But the signs say what to do.
I know.
It's not... But
it's not something that you anticipate. Like, down at First and Spruce, like, if you're turning left, you don't have to stop. But people think you do because it's a 3-way intersection. Yeah, so that's just something that people don't anticipate. And, like, there's a lot of people that don't typically drive in our town.
See, I never run into an issue there. I never run into people being unpredictable in that intersection. Like, that intersection is, I'll grant it, that intersection's a little bit weird and funky the way it all operates, who stops and where. But I never run into people being unpredictable there. They're all doing their thing. They're
no, I get people that stop there.
I feel maybe I don't notice it, but like, it's just, don't stop in the middle of the highway to let me in. Don't slam on the brakes. Just drive predictably. The speed limit's 35. Go 35 or 40. Just because you want to get there in a little bit of a hurry or whatever. But I don't know.
Don't tell people to speed.
No, don't speed. Follow the rules. Like I said, be predictable. Follow the rules. Stop at stop signs. Don't randomly stop in the middle of the road to let people in. If it's your turn to go, you're not helping everyone by pausing and waiting a little bit longer to let somebody else go. Just take your turn, go through the circle. If everyone follows the rules and is predictable, everyone gets home safe. It's my hot take. I don't know if it's a hot take. It's probably the way a lot of people feel, but
I don't know. I ride with you a lot, and that is something that makes you very angry.
It's like the only thing that makes me mad when we're driving.
And it's like suddenly angry too. And I won't even notice that somebody's doing something, and you start yelling. It's like, whoa.
It's the only thing. So people driving slow in front of me, that's fine. They're predictable. I know they're driving slow, that's fine. If they're driving fast, they want to get around me, whatever, that's fine. But like,
you just want to be able to turn, and you don't like it when somebody like doesn't turn when you think they should.
When the rules of the road dictate that that's when they should be turning, then they should be turning then.
Okay,
but, yeah.
Well, that's Eric's hot take corner.
That's my hot take. All right.
So we also
moving on.
We want to thank some people who have supported our show. We have a friend that bought us some coffee, and apparently we will be seeing them in Morro Bay. Yes. So thank you so much for that. We also wanted to mention Kathy, who gave us some bird beer while we were at Rio Grande from Sandhills Brewery in Hutchinson, Kansas.
She said it was her hometown, right?
Yeah, and those beers were really good. So
yes,
thank you.
They were very, very good.
I mean, what's better than a cash beer? Definitely, for us at least.
And they had birds, like realistic birds that were drawn, generally anatomically correct. They had the plumage correct and all that stuff on these birds, and they were just interesting beers. Like it wasn't just like a lager. It was one of them was sour red ale. Another one was a stout with something else. Like, they were interesting beers, not just kind of a like beer. So it was both interesting beer and interesting cans.
Well, and
at the same time.
One of our friends who's kind of pretentious on beers was down there, and he like took a sip of it, and he was like blown away.
Yeah, he was like, "This is so good." And he is a beer connoisseur.
Yes,
like, I like beer. I drink it, but I am not like I don't know the intricacies of how these flavors are going to blend, and to know whether or not this particular one is significantly better than that. I generally know that, well, that one tastes bad, that one tastes good.
I just know what I like.
And I know what I like. But he is a connoisseur, and he's across all types of beers. He's like, oh, well, this one, it should be more like this. Blah, blah, blah. He has all this information, and he was like, this is a very good beer.
So anyways, if you're in Hutchinson, Kansas, maybe check out Sandhills Brewing.
Yeah.
So thank you to everyone who has supported our podcast. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we love doing it. So we appreciate that you like listening to us.
Yeah. So, Hannah, you've got 2 other episodes of stuff that comes out. So you have 2 other podcasts, episodes that come out in between Hannah and Eric Go Birding. So, next week, you have got Women Birders Happy Hour. Who did you have on for that?
So for that one, I had on Serena Conforte, who is a birder and a guide, and she splits her time in between Italy and Germany. So it's fun to talk with her about birding in those places that I've never birded before, and I don't know a whole lot of other people who bird there. So that was fun to kind of break into a new region. So check that out on December 18th, wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah. And then last week, Bernard Book Club, you read a book.
Not,
But you did a different take. This is a different situation for Bird Nerd Book Club.
yeah, so this was the last Bird Nerd Book Club of the year, and so I had Lizzie Lusterman from Budio Books, who's the owner of Budio Books, on to talk about some of the books that we enjoyed in 2025 and what we look forward to in 2026. So check that out. That one came out on December 4th.
Nice.
So Eric, we're going some places.
Yeah, so real quick, we're just got back from some places, but we're going to be going to some places. In January, we're going to Morro Bay Bird Festival to guide at that festival again this year. Had a blast last year. Going back again this year. Can't wait to get down there into sunny Central California coast. And then in the end of February, we're going to be going to Japan for a couple of weeks. And then in April, we'll be going to Spring Chirp down in the Rio Grande Valley. Really fun festival. It's the spring festival in the Rio Grande Valley. So it's a blast. Small little festival, boutique festival. Less than 100 or less people registered for the festival. It's limited to that, and it's a lot of fun and has really good food.
Definitely.
BTW.
Yeah. So that brings us to our December Bird Nerd giveaway.
Yes, it does.
And what we have for the randomly chosen winner is a Go Birding podcast hat that we have. We got new.
Slightly new patch / logo.
I'm sort of poorly trying to consolidate our podcast into a podcast conglomerate.
Well, a lot of groupings of podcasts are called like channels.
Yeah,
or
channel. That's a better word for
consortiums and stuff. And so
I like consortium.
Consortium's good. It's a consortium of We Go Birding.
That sounds evil. So anyways, so we're putting it under the header of Go Birding Podcasts, and so I made
which is what our website is, gobirdingpodcast.com.
Yeah, so I made a new logo for that, and the hat is a Go Birding Podcast hat.
So it encompasses Hannah and Eric Go Birding, Bird Nerd Book Club, and Women Birders Happy Hour.
Yeah,
all 3 within Go Birding Podcasts.
Any way you want to listen to my voice, it's there. So the deadline for this is December 23rd. And Eric, what do we want people to say?
So we want to find out, what is your favorite bird gift that you've received, or if you have a really good one that you've given, like what.
Or what do you want?
What do you want?
Yeah, some related to birds and gifts.
Yeah,
and
so Hannah and I are doing kind of filming some videos of ideas that we have for stuff that that people could gift for this season, and it could be for the season, or it could be for a birthday, or it could be for whatever. But
it's always fun to give gifts.
It's always fun to give gifts, yeah. So
tell us by December 23rd what sort of like bird gift that you would like, or have given, or have gotten. So, Rio Grande Valley Birding Festival. This is, I think, my 10th or 11th year guiding at this. And it's always a great time to get back to the Rio Grande Valley. It's during fall migration, and so you see a lot of different things as they are moving on their way south. And sometimes you get weird things that pop up. Yeah.
So the Rio Grande Valley Bird Festival is the largest bird festival in the valley. It's one of the largest bird festivals in the country. In my opinion, it's the best bird festival. It is so much fun. I mean, no offense to any other bird festival. I just really like. We live down there. It's something about being back there feels like we're at a home away from home. It's an amazing place to be, and the birds are so good that and it's not just birds. It's also butterflies and dragonflies and like random interesting mammals and snakes, and the wildlife in general is spectacular down in the Rio Grande Valley.
And we know we've talked about the Rio Grande Valley like dozens of times on the podcast, and this is kind of like Eric said, is one of the reasons why we love it, because it's like our second home. But also because there's something new and unexpected every single time we go.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, kind of the new thing for this festival, at least for us, is that we weren't guiding together most of the time.
It was different. And if you don't like that we're split up talking about this episode, you can blame Justin, the field trip coordinator. We'll
give you his email.
We'll let you. We'll in the show notes. Yeah, sure. But we did guide together the first day, and then we birded separately the rest of the time, and then we came back together the day after the festival to bird together again. So it's a slightly different experience for us, and we also kind of did some little bit different things.
They gave us more responsibilious, which is cool. If you're into
if you're into having responsibilities, it's cool.
Yeah. If you're like type A, you're like, yay, more responsibilities. So anyways, the first day we got down there in the evening and we went to the kickoff party, and then our first day of guiding, our one day together, was guiding at Resaca de la Palma State Park, which is further down the valley towards Brownsville, and to the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley campus. And that field trip is also fun because it has lunch included with it. Yeah,
it's resacas and lunch is what the title of the trip is. You go to a bunch of different resacas down in the Brownsville area, and then you get lunch.
So we started off going to Resaca de la Palma State Park, which is it's a cool park. I feel like we've never really given it like a great chance of exploring it because we've only been like halfway down the entrance ramp, and that's about it.
So honestly, I've been there for a night thing.
Yeah.
And then we've been there a dozen times, but only to chase a rarity.
Yeah.
I've never like gone and given it like a full, let's go spend the whole morning at Resaca de la Palma. And by the way, you have to say Resaca de la Palma, the whole name of the state park.
It's so fun to say.
It's not just Resaca or La Palma. It's Resaca de la Palma State Park every single time. But it's a much larger park than we ever explore.
Yeah.
But we've never given it its due and birded the whole thing. And again, in true fashion, we also didn't give it a full birding day at it.
We were with 20 people. I mean, we were limited on time and ability. But we will have to make a point of trying to do better. And we're hoping in the spring when we're there.
Go explore all the trails, all the different spots. I'm sure there's spots that don't typically have rare birds that are still really good birding spots. Because we've really only been to the area that everyone birds for the rare birds that are relatively near the entrance.
Yeah. So anyways, we got there and we, right off the bat, we were having like titmouse, the black-crested titmouse. We had a bunch of green jays. They have
so many green jays.
A feeding area in the front of the park, right in the parking lot. So that it was a good spot to get green jays, which is always fun. Like to show people their first green jay, especially on day one, when a lot of people hadn't been to the valley before. There we also had blue-gray gnatcatchers and mockingbirds. We had a couple Altamira orioles that were just like right in the parking lot too. Yeah. And then we had a hawk fly through really quickly, which from first impression we all thought was Cooper's hawk. Mm-hmm. And then it flew through a couple more times. Somebody eventually ended up getting a picture of it. So that was really handy to have that. And then we waited for the office to open, had everybody use the bathroom because it's inside, which is a little different from some of the other state parks.
It is different from a lot of state parks. The bathroom is, you have to actually have the park open before you can use the bathrooms. Which a lot of the parks you can go in, bird around for a little bit, use some, like Benson State Park, the bathrooms are separate and they're always unlocked. Estero...
They're outside.
They're outside, and I think are they always unlocked at Estero?
As far as I know,
I think they are.
The ones in the tropical zone were closed this time.
There's something wrong with those this year, but yeah, most of the other state parks, there's some way to use the facilities outside of office hours. So if you get there at sunrise, an hour or two before they open, you can bird, do that, and then go check in and pay.
Yeah.
Not so at Resaca de la Palma. But we got checked in, got everyone to the bathroom, got all our wristbands for the day to be able to have fair entry into the park, and then we headed down part of the tram loop, which is on the north side of the visitor center, and it goes back. This is the part of the park that I've only been to like once or twice, and it's usually where there's rare birds.
Yeah.
So that's why we always go there.
Well, because it takes you out to like the Resaca, and the Resaca right now is dry. It's every single time we've been there, it's been dry.
It's been wet once.
Was it?
Yeah, one time there was water in it.
And for those who maybe haven't heard us talk about it before, a Resaca is another term for an oxbow lake. So the lower Rio Grande Valley is full of all these different like lakes that were typically part of the Rio Grande River, because at the end of the river it would flood and it would change course a lot historically.
It meandered a lot. It's a very slow moving river. Slow moving rivers typically get very windy, and then they also pinch off and have oxbow lakes. So that happened, and then additionally floods would then refill these resacas. And then the river would go back to its normal channel, and then all of a sudden you'd have a bunch of fish and stuff in this resaca that came from the river because of the flooding.
Yeah, and we don't allow these things to function the way that they like naturally would, and so these resacas are normally only getting water through if somebody's pumping water into it or from rainfall. And so the one at Resaca de la Palma has been dry the past couple times we've been there.
Almost every time. I only remember one time it ever being wet. So.
And it's just a field now, essentially, in between like two stands of mesquite trees.
Yeah.
And so it does act as a good like habitat edge. So you can see things flying back and forth. Like that was where we ended up getting the kiskadee for that park, was flying back and forth in between those stands of mesquites. But other than that, resacas that do have water in them, they can be fantastic places for kingfishers and herons and all these other things that rely on water more heavily.
Yeah, so we walked back to the resaca, and on the way to the resaca, there had been a rare bird that had been seen the last couple of days at this park at Resaca de la Palma, and it was a tropical parula. So we started hearing it, and it was calling and calling and calling, and we looked and looked and looked and looked and looked, and nothing. We could not find this bird. It was like 10, 15 feet further into the brush than what we could see up at the top of the trees. So it was kind of like, well, we're just going to kind of give up on this and move on. So we went a little further in, got to the resaca. Not a lot going on with the resaca. Had a couple of Mexican blue wings.
Butterflies.
It's a butterfly species.
Which is the coolest butterfly species.
I only know the target butterfly species for the valley. Like the exciting ones. The malachites, the guava skippers, the Mexican blue wings. Those are the only ones I know. I don't know any of the other butterflies. So if I know the butterfly, then it's like, oh, okay, well, this is something people want to see.
Well, and I feel like I've seen just a handful of them, but like that day when we were at Resaca de la Palma, there were so many of them.
Every tree had a couple.
Which is so cool because they're beautiful butterflies. I hope you got a picture of one, but they're like blue.
A bad photo, yeah.
They're like, I don't know, kind of small to medium butterflies, and they are like a bright, vibrant blue and black striped on them. They're gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we had a bunch of those guys flying around, landing on the trunks and moving around and stuff. But then it was like, well, there's not a lot of bird activity, so let's head on back. We're going to go to one of the other resacas. So we had UTRGV that we were going to go to, and we were going to have a couple more spots and then lunch. So on our way back out, the tropical parula started calling again. So I was like, oh, all right. And honestly, it is difficult. This is a bird species that by call is... Well, weirdly enough, most birds by call is like the best way. But this, between tropical parula and northern parula, they're very, very difficult to distinguish. And we're also in a hybrid zone where you get both northern and tropical, and they will hybridize. So it can be really difficult to tell them apart unless you actually see them. So you can see whether or not they have a white eyebrow or the white line on their face. Like you kind of have to see it. So we were us guides, we were very hesitant to put it on the list because even though we were hearing a call regularly, it was not something that we were confident enough that we could identify this is the tropical parula. So we're going along, we're hearing a call again, and I messaged on the full group chat like, oh, hey, the tropical parula is still calling. And then one of the other guides in the festival called me out and is like, you can't really tell them apart. And I was like, I know, I'm sorry. Thanks for the reminder, but we're looking still. And so we ended up looking, and we ended up finding it. We had a couple of participants got on it first, and then all of a sudden it just moved little bit left, a little bit left, a little bit left. And as it was moving, it got more and more clear until it was like a couple on one of the photos. They had a pretty darn good photo from one of the participants. Like, it's very obviously the tropical parula, and it was like, oh, thank goodness, thank goodness. I don't have to retract my post on the WhatsApp group. I'm like, we got a good look, and so I messaged out. And we just saw it. So that was nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. So from there we went to UTRGV, which is the college campus that's down there. And we've been there a number of times because it also is a place that has really good rarities pop up. But for some reason we've never been there when there's like students.
No,
so it was
I don't know
super
how
busy.
Well, because normally we go there because we're chasing rarities most of the time. So we'll be chasing a rarity after we're done birding for the day. After we're done guiding for the day, someone will be like, "Oh, there's a social flycatcher down in the valley, or down in UTRGV." So then we'll go down there, and by the time we get there, it's like 5 o'clock or something, or 6 o'clock, and so it's like the sun's getting ready to set. We're getting there. All the students are all out of class, and so we're there, and the parking lots are empty, and there's nothing going on.
Well, and we've guided there before, but it was on a weekend.
On a weekend, yeah. So. Like, this time we get there and the place is packed. It's like a regular school.
It was like, I didn't know college students actually went here.
I know. But the college campus itself was built around a couple of resakas.
Yeah.
So you have a couple of resakas that are just actually full of water. I think they pump them, make sure they stay full of water.
I think probably.
But a couple of resakas that are full of water and really good habitat edge all the way around all of them. And a bridge that goes right over the center of one of them. So it's a really good vantage point. I think a lot of the students don't really recognize how like unique this particular campus is. Like as they're walking through, it's just kind of just the way it is. This is the campus. We walk over this bridge to the lake to go to the engineering building or whatever they're doing for their class. But yeah, it's a really unique campus that has some really good wildlife in it. So we spent probably an hour or so there birding at the
bridge.
At the bridge.
From there, we had a belted kingfisher, which is always kind of a draw, like whether or not you're going to get your kingfishers.
Was that Bill called you out? He's like, "All right, Hannah, now find us a kingfisher."
Yeah.
And then within 30 seconds, you were like, "Right there."
I think he said, "I'll buy you a taco."
Oh, that's what it was. He'll buy you a taco if you find a kingfisher.
Which I'm still waiting on that taco.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously, Bill.
And then a lot of herons, like I was saying with resakas. So little blue heron, green heron, great egret, great blue heron. So I felt like we were getting all our water species that we were trying to get. From there, we headed off to the other resaka because sometimes you can get fulvous whistling ducks there.
That's always my target at the other resaka.
But as you were talking about with like the habitat edge, or pairing area right there, you can get a lot of good things too. So we had clay-colored thrush, we had the curve-billed thrasher, orange-crowned warbler. We had a couple people that really wanted an orange-crowned warbler. Yeah. So we got good looks at those in the palm trees that are alongside the waterway. And then we got over to the other resaka, which has like kind of a weird overlook. I mean, there is another bridge to it, but we never
in the middle.
We never walk over to the other bridge.
Yeah, I don't know why. That's for some reason that's just not.
It just seems like too far for no payoff.
Yeah,
for that one.
That's got to be what it. Because you're too far from any habitat edges on that one because it's kind of they keep most of that resaka mowed.
Yeah,
up to the edge of the water.
But we did have a bunch of black-bellied whistling ducks. No fulvous whistling ducks that we could pick out.
Probably almost 100.
Yeah, and there were a bunch of Muscovy ducks as well, and those ones aren't countable. They're feral, introduced individuals, which is always like a huge conversation when we're there at the resaka as to why we can't count those ones. So from there we got back to the vans and headed to Spanky's for lunch, which is a great burger spot that's not too far from campus.
Yeah, great burger spot. It has a resaka right at it, so we sit and enjoy some resaka views, have some lunch. And by the time we finished lunch, it was we actually kind of dilly-dallied to lunch, probably longer than we are supposed to. I don't know. Everyone was having a good time though. We're all enjoying lunch, eating delicious food, watching the Harris's hawks fly around.
Well, there was a Muscovy duck that was right there. That
Muscovy duck that was like trying to eat our fries.
Yeah.
So then we got everyone gathered back up together and then made one last stop. There's a resaka that's at the intersection of Highway 100 and the expressway that is just off the highway there.
And Highway 100's the road that you take to get out to South Padre Island.
Exactly.
So it's a really easy stop if you're going to the island to stop there and check out the resaca.
Yeah, if you're running late and the sun's already up, you can stop there, take a look at stuff that's there, and then continue on. But we stopped there. Nothing like particularly special, but lesser and greater yellowlegs.
Yeah,
some
so we
killdeer.
added some shorebirds.
There was some calidrees, some least or western or something that were flying way off in the distance. Very hard to tell what they were, but they were the little tiny shorebirds. And then some gulls, cormorants, ibis. So a couple of those were new for the day, but it was not super active, and everyone was kind of getting tired. We'd just eaten lunch, so everyone wanted to take a nap. So since everyone was tired, we headed back and went on with the evening.
Yeah, so that evening, Eric and I were very grateful to the festival for taking a chance on us and allowing us to host trivia, which was really our first time hosting it in that sense, because we do it at San Diego, but there's somebody else actually asking the questions.
Yeah, we kind of arrange and get people situated and come up with a venue and work on organization, but we don't actually do the trivia itself.
Yeah, so there was a little confusion on this one. So unfortunately, there were no drinks. There was water and popcorn that people could have, and soda. Was there soda?
Yeah, there's soda.
Okay, but we were hoping there was going to be alcoholic beverages. It just did not work out this time, but hopefully in the future. We ended up having a packed house though.
Oh yeah.
And I mean,
standing room only.
Yeah, like 14 or 15 teams or so.
Yeah.
And it was a really fun night of trivia. I was shocked at how many people got all our answers because I thought some of our questions were really tough.
I thought some of them were way too easy, and some of the ones that I thought were too easy were harder than I expected, and then vice versa. Like everything about it surprised me.
Yeah.
But in a good way, like good surprises.
So the festival had listed it also as a talent show, and we were supposed to coordinate the talent portion. Mm-hmm. And I'd put in the guide chat a couple days in advance, like, hey, if anybody has a talent that they want to share, let us know. And I got one person who responded to me, Hector, who is one of the newer guides. Mm-hmm. He's a local to the Valley, and he is going to college for music.
Yeah.
And so he actually sang a song in the middle of one of the breaks in between, and it was fantastic.
A German opera.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And so we had... The ABA was sponsoring it. They're the ones who purchased the drinks and refreshments for the evening. So they presented what their mission is and all of that stuff at the beginning and the first break. Second break, Hector did his amazing show of German opera, which was spectacular.
Well, and the cool thing about that was how many people came to us afterwards and said, like, this is like one of those interesting things that festivals don't do that they should do, which was just really cool because, I mean, Hector he
blew the doors off that house.
But he was so brave,
yeah.
like, to stand up and do that in front of, a couple hundred people.
Oh, and it was very clear that he has a talent, he has a skill, he has something that he's been honing, but he's not, it was kind of like, you turn it on. Like, he went up there, he's a little bit nervous, he's talking, like, I'm going to do this thing, and he kind of explains what's going to happen, and then when he gets into it, it's like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, so that was really cool.
Yeah, Hector, you're fantastic.
And then at the spur of the moment, I just said, hey, if anybody wants to sign up for our bird calls competition, let's do that too. And so we had, I think it was 9 people joined us for that, and that was the last round of breaks in between questions, and that was so much fun too. There was like 3 people that wanted to do barred owl.
Yeah.
So if you want to perfect a bird call, maybe avoid barred owl because
barred owl seems to be a very popular call that people want to show off. Which
learn how to do it. That's cool.
People get really good at it, but a lot of people get really good at it too. So that's potentially might be an oversaturated market with that species.
But it was so much fun to host the trivia, and so many people were like engaged. I don't think we had anybody leave like in the middle of it, like tired.
Thought for sure people were gonna leave like before we started. It was like, all right, well, we're probably gonna room's full, sure, but people are gonna get bored and tired of this, so they're gonna leave halfway through.
Yeah,
but no, nobody left.
I hope we can do it at other festivals because, like, if you're a festival organizer, please. It was so much fun. I had a great time. Yeah. Other people seem to have a great time too. So Eric and I were like riding the high from that, and we went to go get dinner, and just really wanted to like have a celebratory beer. And we went to the Las Vegas Cafe, which is great, but they don't serve alcohol.
Completely forgot. It's kind of like a diner, and they don't have alcohol, so we spent a dry evening,
We had
which was fine.
Celebratory
Nothing wrong with it.
tacos instead.
Tacos were good.
Yeah. The next day was our first day to not guide with each other,
Yes.
which was weird.
In years.
Yeah, and so I had a beginner birding trip that day, and I went to Rio Grande State Park, which is a fantastic state park, one of our favorite ones. We talk about a ton of different times, so I won't bore you with that many details about it other than, you know, we went to the blind, had some of the usual suspects, the green jays and the orioles and all that stuff, and then we stopped off at the store because people wanted to check that out, and the deck for a few minutes, and the deck had water at it, so
nice.
That's always
were there
good
ducks?
sign. There were some ducks.
Some ducks, okay.
But the really cool thing was the soras. One called while we were standing at the deck, and I was like, oh, cool, a Sora called, you know, and everybody heard it. And then we went to go walk towards the back ponds, but somebody wanted to go walk on the boardwalk that goes through that main
through
pond.
the middle, yeah.
I can't remember what the pond is called. But, so we did that for like...
Black-belly whistling duck pond.
Yeah. We went like 20 or 30 feet down that. And then there was a Sora, like they had plowed some rows in between the cattails.
Yeah.
There was a Sora just standing there.
Huh.
So everybody got great looks at a Sora, which can be very difficult.
Sometimes can be very difficult.
Yeah, but it was like...
Very secretive birds.
Pulled that one out, which was good. We went to the back pond, and Ibis Pond had a green kingfisher that just put on a show for us, which was amazing. There was a baby alligator there too.
Yeah.
So that was fun to go look at those things. The Paraki was in its usual spot, and everybody was very excited about that. We had somebody like a volunteer who we kept bumping into. She hyped us all up about the Paraki. And so we got over there, and we had one lady who just basically ran over with the volunteers, like, show me the Paraki, show me the Paraki. And so,
I need to see it right now.
Yeah, so that was really fun. Lots of vultures flying around out at the levee, tons more shorebirds out there, and spoonbills and everything you could ever want. We went out to the tropical zone to finish up the morning, and we ended up with the day with 52 species.
Nice.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. But you did something more unusual. Have we talked about King Ranch before?
We have talked about King Ranch before. So I was assigned to go out on one of the most highly sought after trips at the festival.
Oh, aren't you fancy?
So there's a couple trips that are very highly sought after. It's the ones that are longer, pretty much. So
well, and people ask us a lot, like, what trips would you do on the Rio Grande Valley trip?
One.
Yeah,
this is one that fills up pretty much within minutes of it going live. This one fills up. Same with Upper Rio or the Santa Margarita Ranch. Those are ones they fill up almost immediately, and then the rest of them will fill up within like an hour or two.
Yeah.
But these ones within minutes they're full. But King Ranch, both for guides and for participants alike, it's very highly sought after. It's a great time. You get it pretty early. It's not the earliest, but it's a pretty early because it's a 45-minute drive up to the ranch. You go up to the Northeast Division. It
feels so much longer.
It does feel so much longer. I've done this one twice now.
Yeah.
I think this is the second time doing it. This is the Northeast Division, so it's one of the it's like the middle division that kind of bumps out to the coast.
Yeah.
Of King Ranch, and you go. It has 4 or 5 guides depending on how it's assigned for the day, and a big bus. It's a full bus. We had 50 people total, which is guides and participants. Lots of people, so it kind of gets a little crowded sometimes, and you do a lot of birding by bus while you're heading out there. Once we got out there at sunrise. One of the other ranch hands or one of the other ranch employees joined us there with the van to open up the gates as we're driving through. Beautiful weather. We had tons and tons of species. Our first stop, we parked, headed off into the brush, had really long calls over and over and over of the Audubon's oriole.
Nice.
Never ended up seeing it.
Oh.
Which was unfortunate. That was a target for a lot of people on the trip, but lots and lots of calls. It's on the checklist because we heard it. It was very, very clearly heard it. Heard it multiple times throughout the day, but never ended up seeing it. After we kind of gave up on looking for it there, got back in the bus, Loaded up, headed down to one more spot that had a really good northern beardless tyrannulet, which is another target for the area. Northern beardless tyrannulet is like the smallest flycatcher down there, or one of the smallest. At least flycatcher is smaller,
one of the smaller.
It's tiny. It's a little tiny flycatcher with a very long name, northern beardless tyrannulet. Very long name for this little tiny flycatcher, and they nest exclusively in ball moss. So I don't think they do much to the ball moss. I think they literally just clear it out, and then that's their nest.
Yeah.
But they only nest in areas that have ball moss, so it's very specialized. And ball moss is also a really good indicator of the health of an ecosystem around an area. So air pollution, water pollution really affect ball moss, and it can kind of destroy them, and they don't survive very well. So had a really good look at one of these guys, and then we went off to go find the main event. The main reason people want to come out here is for the ferruginous pygmy owl. So it's this little tiny owl, size of a Foster's can. It's like Foster's beer, Australian beer. It's the size of one of those Foster's oil cans.
Versus an elf owl the size of a Coke can.
The size of a Coke can, exactly. Different cans for different owls. For different owls, yeah.
What would a great horned owl be? Like a
keg,
like a root beer barrel.
Like a root beer barrel, yeah. Like they're substantial, yeah. So this little owl, it's a little guy, and they call a lot. They're I think they're fully diurnal, right? I don't know. They're very active during the day.
Yeah.
Like you see them during the day. It's not an owl that you have to go out at night to go find. You see them during the day. They usually call. They have recently been uplisted, so out of the King Ranch they can't play callback for them anymore. They used to be able to do callback. You go out there and it would be easier to get them, but it's still difficult. Well,
and the King Ranch is very responsible in the way they do it.
They are very responsible.
They don't overplay any group of ferruginous pygmy owls.
Yes.
And so, yeah, they're disappointed that they can't do it anymore, but they understand why, and they want to help, respect the species.
Exactly. And so Janice, who is one of the employees of the King Ranch, she was our site guide for the day. She made it very clear that there are multiple families of ferruginous pygmy owls, and they don't visit the same family every single day. So that way, a giant group of 50 people walking down the trail, that bird only sees a giant group of 50 people every couple of weeks. Yeah. It's not like it's every single day there's this giant group of people coming out and looking at them. It's that if you find the owl at one, that owl is now off limits for another week or two. And so they don't go back out to that owl. Because it's very easy for them to manage that because it's a private location that you have to have one of the site guides there with you. So that was our target. Go find this owl. We parked along the side of the road, and Janice is like, hey, this road here, it's never been on the left. I saw one when I came out and scouted a couple of days ago on the right up here by those oaks. Like, those oaks are some good habitat. Let's get up there and look at those. We got about halfway to those oaks, and then one of the participants was like, hey, is that it right there? Pointed over to the left on the top of a mesquite tree, and there was. Literally out in the open, all the way to the top. Very unusual behavior for this bird. But out of the top, and it was calling too. It was just out in the open, just calling. Like, I
feel like that's a lesson for everybody, that if you're on a field trip, you look around.
Everyone should be looking.
Yeah,
everyone should be looking all the time, because Janice wasn't looking. She wasn't looking left.
Don't just wait for the guide to find the bird.
She was looking right, looking for a lump on the right, where it had been a couple of days before, and where the habitat was actually better for it. On the left hand side, where it was, the habitat was not as good. It wasn't as thick. It wasn't as good for it to just hang out in the habitat because it's not as protected. But there it was, hanging out,
nice,
calling. So one participant found it. It dropped down within a second or two of us turning and looking and be like, oh yes, that's it, there it is. And we got everyone back gathered together, and everyone's like, shh, gotta be quiet. We're all super quiet. We're getting scopes on it. We're getting everyone good looks. And then a second one started calling from another 50 feet or so back in the brush to the left, even further left of it. So it's like there's two right here. This is the family group that Janice had found a couple of days prior, but not in the good habitat. So she's like, I don't know what's going on. This is all weird. But we got our fill of it. It was fantastic.
That's awesome.
And then we were like, well, I guess we're headed back. We tried for Sprague's Pipit on the way out. Somebody had a very brief look at one as we were driving, but we never ended up getting getting anybody really on it. There was one that was calling too, but we couldn't really get it. So that's the other main target, Sprague's Pipit. But you can get Sprague's Pipit through most of the valley. You just have to be in the right habitat.
Yeah.
Short enough grass, big enough fields. You can usually get Sprague's Pipit, but no real good looks for our participants that day.
Well, you got the owl.
But we got the owl.
That's
got really good looks at the owl. That's the main goal for the whole thing. And we got it, so that was good. So
that evening, I was the moderator for a women's panel on birding.
And again, the festival taking a chance on doing something different than normal.
Yes, definitely. And so I was kind of nervous about this because I really wanted it to happen, and I was so glad that the festival supported us in this. So a group of women and I have been coordinating in advance of the festival about doing this panel. It's myself, Allison, Shawneen, Kelsey, and Stephanie, who were the ones up on the stage. So we got up on stage and talked about our experiences as women and, what we think we should happen in the birding community to try to improve the situation for women, our experiences, all that. We did send out a survey in advance of the festival and had about 300 participants who responded about, experiences they'd had, positive or negative, and what changes they would like to see, and how they felt about women-led walks and women-only trips and things like that, which our response we got was a really mixed bag. And I didn't anticipate hearing so many responses that were like, why are you talking about this?
Yeah.
Which kind of surprised me. But I mean, everybody has their own opinion about the matter. And we wanted to be respectful of everybody's opinion. And I think the group that we had, the panel group, we were all very mixed in our opinions about how women should be treated, and if there should be more effort drawn to having women's only events. And I mean, I don't want to get into it, but it was.
If you want to hear about it, you should have come to the panel.
I know we were dumb and we did not.
Should have recorded.
It, but
missed opportunity.
The room was pretty much packed, and you were a participant, or you sat and listened.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of blacked out through the whole thing. So
you just kind of went into autopilot mode, and you just made it happen.
Thank you. But it was mostly women who were in the audience, which, I thought, oh, shoot, more men didn't show up. But I'm hoping that it empowered some of the women that were there to, be a better advocate for other women birders, or if they were in opposition to how we felt, that that maybe they would understand a little bit why somebody else would feel differently. So I put together kind of a talk like the day before I was going to present it, and
I feel like you put it together the day of. I feel like it was like you're panicking, like, I'm supposed to be starting this. I'm supposed to be doing this introduction, and I know what we're going to be talking about throughout, but I don't have an intro at all. And like, you're right. You were like, I have to say something. It has to be impactful. I have to do it. I have to get it all together. And it was like minutes before you were going up on stage, you were like finishing it.
Well, anyways, so I threw something together, and I mentioned a couple women who have been really influential in birding, like Florence Marion Bailey and Rachel Carson and Phoebe Snetzinger. And when I brought up Phoebe Snetzinger, a woman in the front row said that was my mother.
Yeah. Really?
And it was, it was just kind of a name that, like, there's so many impressive women in birding.
Yeah.
But Phoebe Snetzinger was somebody who was like an avid chaser, and she just lived this adventurous, incredible life, and was just like BA and amazing, and like was just somebody that I really have a lot of respect for.
Yeah.
And it was incredible that I was talking to her daughter. So I was like, I need to talk to you afterwards. And then we did the panel, and which was really fun. We had a lot of audience participation. There was a man who did a little bit of mansplaining, which is a little frustrating, but also kind of poignant.
It was very on brand. But it was kind of shocking though. Like he was like you said, mansplaining. Like you said whatever. I can't remember. I honestly don't remember the specific topic that was being discussed. But then he just like jumps in and starts talking. It's like, this you're not part of the panel, right? Like you're an audience member who's supposed to be benefiting from listening to what this panel has to say. This panel of experts in the field. You had scientists, you had guides, you had
I call myself a social scientist.
Social scientists, like you had a smattering of people from a variety of ages and different sectors of birding and bird stuff, and so you're up there as the experts, and then you have somebody in the audience that's like wanted to like tell you how it's going to go. It's like, you know, but like you said, it was very poignant that it was kind of like, yes, don't do that. Regardless of how you feel about every other aspect of what's being discussed here, don't do that.
So yeah, it was really fun. I went over, I think, a lot better than I was worried that it was gonna go.
Yeah.
Because it's always a mixed bag when I bring up about women's issues. I've had a lot of men say like, "Why don't we have a all men's conference?" And it's like, because that's what they all used to be. I
put it on. Do a men's conference. Advertise it.
Yeah.
Men only. See what happens.
So, regardless of how you feel about it, I just, I hope that you'll respect my advocacy on the matter.
Yeah, I respect it.
Thank you, because you don't have a choice. But it was incredible to meet Phoebe Snetzinger's daughter and talk with her about her mom and how incredible she was. So that was totally unexpected and really cool.
All right.
That's what I have to say on that.
Good. Okay, so next day, we're gonna have to kind of go through because there's most of what we did for the rest of the festival was kind of the same stuff that we've done before.
Yeah. So the next day, I led a women's only trip to.
That's new. That's not a thing we've done before.
Yeah, the festival has this year they offered a couple women's only trips, and they filled up like that.
Oh,
which was really cool. So it just kind of shows that there is interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
We went out to the convention center, kind of the same thing as usual. Nature center, convention center, Sheep's Head. There were some warblers that were popping in. That was really cool. Clapper rails at the nature center. Stopped off for Aplomato falcons, which were really easy to get.
Nice.
So yeah, that was about typical.
Yeah, and then while you were doing that, I was doing beginning birding at Santa Ana. So Santa Ana National Wildlife Refuge, one of the biggest national. I guess it's not. It's a national wildlife refuge in the Rio Grande Valley. I was going to say it's one of the biggest, but no, Laguna Atascosa is way bigger.
Yeah.
It's like substantially larger. But Santa Ana, it's a national wildlife refuge right in the middle, smack dab middle of the valley. It's really good for birds. It has basically it has all the different habitat types that you can find in the mid valley.
If you want to see
and it has a tower,
moss dripping off of trees, that's the place to go.
That is the place to go. If you want to see like traditional this is what this area probably looked like
historically,
200 years ago, 300 years ago. The Santa Ana National Wildlife Refuge is that. So in the water area, we had wading birds, we had ducks. We walked into the forest. We had a handful of forest birds. We went there on the bus. I had 7 participants. We broke free from the bus. The bus all went and did their own thing. We went off and did our own little thing in a smaller group where we could more intimately focus on how to start identifying birds and how to use your optics, like any sort of discussions about being relatively new to birding. So that's kind of the advantage of these beginning birder walks, is that ends up being a smaller group, and then we can focus more on like talking about how to look at the birds and how to identify them and more stuff as opposed to just like there's a tarantula, there's a this, there's a that, and just getting those numbers of like stuff.
Well, and I feel
very, very much focused in on being newer to birding and the different skills that you need to build when you're starting off.
I feel like it's a really like supportive environment too.
Yeah.
That people feel welcome to ask questions and, even things about how to use binoculars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that evening we had Parapalooza, which is
the most frustrating Parapalooza that we have had the entire time. We've done Parapalooza every year since we started. So this is 11th, 12th Parapalooza we've done.
Yeah, and we didn't see parakeets until like 45 minutes into it. So we were just driving around in like a 10 square mile.
An hour and a half into it. It's like a 2 hour.
Was it that long?
Yeah, it was so late that we saw the parakeets finally at the Whataburger, which they've been there the last couple of years at the Whataburger instead of at the Burlington Coat Factory.
Eric and I filmed a TikTok real quick in the middle of watching it, and somehow that blew up.
Yeah, that one blew up for some reason, but But yeah, finally saw it. It took forever. And then we literally hopped in and had to book it straight over to the parrots. And then the parrots were there immediately.
So that was super frustrating.
Yeah.
And then
But the parrots immediately, right when we got to the area that the parrots are at, we're hearing them within seconds. And they're flying around and then they land. But honestly, we only had like 5 minutes to look at them. And then we had to like tell everyone, all right, let's load up. Because it ends at 6. And 6 o'clock is also when the speaker starts. So they want us back for the people that want to go see the speaker. That's when they really want us to come back by then. So we had to quickly get everyone on all the parrots that were there and then skedoodle back to the convention center.
So on the 4th day, I was at Benson doing beginner birding, and we've talked about Benson a number of times.
Yeah, Hannah worked at Benson.
Yeah, so that was fun to go there and see all the regular stuff. I got all 3 kingfishers at the Resaca, so that was exciting. Yes, and I did Rarity Roundup.
Rarity Roundup is a newer trip. It's a larger trip, but it's split into a bunch of different vans, and then basically you split up all the people of like what rarities are being seen that you want to go see. Kind of people all split up and stand in groups, and then we go based on those locations. So the group that I got assigned to go with was the group that wanted to go find a hook-billed kite and the potential roadside hawk and the reported Eurasian widgeon that were at Santa Ana. So back to Santa Ana.
Yeah.
2 days in a row at Santa Ana, which was fine. It was great park. I liked it. We did find hook-billed kite, which is great. Did not see the roadside hawk and did not see the Eurasian widgeon. I have a feeling Eurasian widgeon was possibly stringy. I'm not sure. Or it could have been a misidentification, not an intentional string, but a misidentification of some of the other birds that are out there, because they can kind of get a little bit confusing sometimes if you have enough stuff out there in the ponds. But really good looks at the hook-billed kite, and then we stopped by Histero for a few minutes before headed back to the convention center.
5th day, not much more to report on that. I mean, I had another women's trip, which was very fun again. We went to the Butterfly Center and Ansel Dewis. A lot of hummingbirds and orioles at the Butterfly Center. Had a flyover of sandhill cranes.
Nice.
Which I don't see a whole lot of those down in the valley, so that was really cool. Woodpeckers, peregrine falcon was flying through, green jays, very confiding olive sparrows underneath the feeders at the Butterfly Center. So that was fantastic. And then a fun family group of vermilion flycatchers at Ansel Dewis.
Yeah.
They were just hopping around on the posts.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be a windy day that last day of the festival, so I was going out pontoon boat trip, which normally the trip goes one big van, you go out, you split the group in half at the boat, half the group goes on the boat, the other half goes out to the island, and then you swap, and it's like a 2 hour or an hour and a half out on the boat. But because of the timing that the storm front was supposed to arrive, we ended up having to just switch it to 2 minivans, and one group went straight to the boat ramp, and then the other group went and birded on land, and then we swapped, and then it kind of reduced. We were only on the boat for an hour, so we reduced the boat time. That way everyone was on the boat and then back off the boat before the storm arrived. And I was first on the boat. My group went first on the boat. The target on the boat, we're going out to Colley's Island, and there is nesting mangrove warblers out there. Mangrove warbler used to be a subspecies of yellow warbler, and now they refer to it as mangrove yellow warbler.
But it got upgraded.
It's upgraded to species. So mangrove yellow warbler. So all of the mangrove type mangrove warblers are now called that. And then northern yellow warbler was split off as separate from that. So northern yellow warbler and then mangrove yellow warbler. We had really good looks at it. Had really good looks at clapper rails. Henry's Charter, which is the company that, Henry's Charter is what he's called. Company that we use we use for the pontoon trip. Great guy, knows his stuff about birds. We go out there. He takes us right to the birds and says, "Hey, there's the birds." And we turn around and leave. It was super nice. Get really good looks. Got some good looks at dolphins as they were riding the bow wave, which was super fun. And then we birded on land for a little bit, but literally we got to the Apple Model Falcons, saw those, and then the wind started, and then it was just whipping the whole time. And I think the other group, they got out, saw the warblers, and on their way back is when the wind started for them. So we can't be out on the water with the wind. The pontoon boat and the flat bottom boat, either boat that Henry's using, when the wind gets going, you just get soaked.
Yeah,
it's no fun. and it's miserable to be out there getting soaked in the rains or in the wind because it's splashing over the edges of the boat. So you just get out of it. So had a really good time out there. I've done that twice. This is the second time doing that trip. We did it together once, and this is my first time doing it by myself. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that was the festival.
That was it. Yeah.
And we had one last day. Well, we flew out at like 5, and Harlingen, like, you don't have to get there that early before the flight.
Otherwise, you can usually arrive like 15 minutes before the flight leaves.
Don't actually do that.
Don't go that short. But yeah, you can
chance it.
There's the only people going through security are the people that are on the plane with you.
Yeah, so it's really fast.
Sometimes there's a second plane, but it's usually 1 or 2 planes leaving within like an hour of each other, and that's it.
So we knew we had like the whole day, and we didn't really have a plan of what we wanted to do, but I knew that I did want to get a lifer if possible, because I want to get a lifer every time we go to the valley.
even though we're going to the same place, it's nice. We've been there so many times. We lived down there for years, but we still can get lifers.
Yeah.
We still find ways to get a lifer.
So the one that I had kind of targeted was scaled quail, and I was like looking at the map, and people will see them out at Santa Margarita, and apparently if we had asked the guides at Santa Margarita, they would show us those, but we didn't realize that was the case.
That they have to go to a slightly different spot to go see them.
Yeah, so I saw that people got them at Rancho Lomitas, and the owner of Rancho Lomitas, Benito Trevino, we listened to him talk before at different speaker events, and the whole facility sounds really cool, and so we were like, hey, let's give that a try. If you look at their website, there's just like a phone number you can text, and if you text, hey, I want to come out on this date, they'll say yes or no or whatever the case is. And so they sent us all the information. I mean, just super detailed information about like how to get there, which was very handy.
Both GPS coordinates, address, and
written directions,
as if we were.
Hey, I didn't have cell service out there,
so
that's true. There was
no cell, so it was nice. It was like, okay, there's going to be a red gate on your right. Don't go through that gate. Stay left at that red gate.
Yeah. And
so it's those sorts of directions where it's like physically like what locals would give directions to people to get to someplace.
Yeah. So
lots of different ways for us to get there.
It's about a 2.5 2-hour drive,
something like that,
from Harlingen out to Rancho Lomitas, because it's like just at the edge of like Starr County.
Yeah.
And so we got there just about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I wasn't so sure we were going to see the scaled quail. I didn't know what the whole deal is. The lists I'd seen were like in the morning and then in the evening, so I was nervous that we had missed the time.
That we weren't there at the right time, and we were just like driving for nothing.
But anyways, we get out there, we get through the gates, we do all the instructions and everything, we park. It's a beautiful like accommodations, like lodging. I don't remember how many rooms they said they had, like maybe 9.
It was something like 9. It was a single digits, I think.
Yeah, but it's a I don't know, kind of an old Spanish style like ranch hotel.
Yeah, with like a courtyard in the middle and like 4 buildings that surround this courtyard.
And in the middle of it is where they have all these feeders underneath trees and scaled quail.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Tons of scaled quail.
Yeah.
Lots of scaled quail just hanging out, doing their thing, and it's like, why? What? This is crazy.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
And there was one of our listeners was there that we chatted with for a little bit too. So hey, glad to see you there. But it was absolutely incredible. It was so peaceful and quiet. There was a lady who's the manager of it. She was just sitting there feeding the quail, when the food would get low, she'd go out and
she'd go out and sprinkle some more seeds across the ground, and then they would all come running and start eating.
It was so pleasant.
Yeah.
And she showed us in one of the rooms. They're gorgeous rooms.
Yeah, really nice rooms.
Yeah, I would definitely go out and stay there and just enjoy watching the scaled quail in the yard.
Yeah. Just wake up to scaled quail and then go out birding.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's fantastic. And just go out to Santa Margarita or wherever, like for the morning. That would be a good spot to be if you're going to Santa Margarita. Stay there overnight, because then it's not so far. You're not driving all the way out from the lower valley.
That's true. Because you're all the way out like Rio Grande City area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was fun. We got our lifer. We had a great time at the festival, as always. We tried a couple new things, which seemed to work out really well. And met some cool people.
Yeah. Went back to the airport. Our flights were all delayed. Not very much. but they were delayed a little bit. It was in the middle of the TSA shutdown.
Yeah.
The government shutdown or everything. So there was a few delays. It was a little confusing getting through the airport in Dallas because we was like,
they changed terminal.
It changed entire terminals.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like, oh, we changed gates. It was like, oh, well, we sat down at one terminal and they were like,
we ordered food.
We ordered food because we were like, oh, well, we have 40 minutes until we board. Good. So then we ordered food. And then when it was like 15 minutes until we board, suddenly they changed the flight. And we're still like, our food had just arrived. And we're like, what do we do? And then we see where and it's a 20-minute hike.
But it was
to
delayed.
where it was. But then it got delayed anyways. So it was like, all right. So then
Worked out.
We hiked all the way over carrying our food. And then got there. And then it was like, oh, it's delayed. So then we stood the gate and ate. So it was all fine.
Yeah.
Everything worked out all right. And yeah, we got home and everything was safe. So hope you enjoyed listening to the Rio Grande Valley for the 7th time, maybe?
Hopefully you've learned something new about it.
Hopefully we talked about new stuff that was different than what we talked about in the past, because that's the objective.
But it's always a fun time.
Oh, it's we can't not talk about it. Is the problem.
And it's fun how many like people like come year after year, even like pay to go to it year after year because they enjoy it and they want to see the cool stuff again. So yeah, it's not just us.
Yeah,
everybody.
It's not just us. Everyone likes it now. So thank you guys all for listening to our podcast. We hope you enjoyed it and or learned something new. Please rate, review, and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Music, or anywhere else you listen to us. If you would like to connect with us on the socials, you can follow us at Hannah Goes Birding and Eric Goes Birding on Instagram. You can follow our Facebook page at Hannah and Eric Go Birding, or you can send us an email at hannahhandericgobirding@gmail.com. You can also check out our website at www.gobirdingpodcast.com. Tell us what you think and share the love of birding with your friends.